Hey, Christian. Yes, you. Do you consider yourself a godly person? Why or why not? It certainly is God's intent for mankind to live godly lives, and if those that call ourselves Christians, we certainly should be living godly lives because the chief end of man is to glorify God. But what does it mean that we are to glorify God? And frankly, how is one to do so? Well, welcome to Morning Walk, where we discuss our walk of faith. I'm so glad that you joined me on this beautiful morning. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, please do. And if you don't mind sharing it with your friends, and give us a thumbs up for this video after you watch it. So what about it? Would you be surprised if I suggested that it was impossible for you to glorify God even after we just acknowledged that the chief end of man is to glorify God? It's like, why would God ask us to do something that we couldn't do? Well, you might be surprised. God asks us a lot of things that we can't do, but the source or our ability to do so doesn't start with us. So, do you know why it's impossible for us to glorify God? Well, the answer is because, now are you ready for this? Only God produces the godliness that glorifies God. You see, only God is glorified by what God does. Think about it. What can you and I do or manufacture or produce that would glorify God? Obviously, we're finite and we've been affected by sin and we don't create, we don't produce. So what are we going to do to glorify God? No, God is only glorified by what God does. And that's right. I want you to think about that statement. And again, what can you do to glorify God by your own self-effort? The reality is nothing. So I want you to think about these three statements. One I've already shared with you. And this is the first one. Only God can produce the godliness that glorifies God. Another way to say it would be that godliness is always a result of God at work. Oh, wow. A third way we might say it is godliness is only a result of what God does. Ponder those statements today as you walk with the Lord. And as you might imagine, we can become easily distracted by trying to glorify God. We've all done it, haven't we? But how have we done it? Well, we'd have to admit we've done it according to our own understanding, never even stopping long enough to consider really what does glorify God. Well, I'm not really sure. You see, the question that I want us to think about today is, could we be missing it? Could we be missing experiencing the Christian life, which is, i.e., the Christ life? So let me pose a question. Is life simply all about growing up and getting an education and preparing for a job and getting married and gathering belongings and buying a house and having children and helping them grow up and get an education and prepare for a job and then babysitting grandchildren and helping them prepare for retirement, or we finally retire and then just lay back in that lazy boy and enjoy retirement? Is that what it's all about? Or if you've been a little bit more religiously trained, is it about going to Sunday school and worship service each week? Is it about being a part of the prayer chain or an usher or leading a small group? What am I getting at? I'm getting at that if we accomplish all these good things by our own determined self-efforts to bring God glory, we're missing it, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because Jesus said, "By this my Father is glorified." Are you ready for it? By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples. Now, how do you and I bear fruit? Well, we don't. We're a branch connected to the vine, and the vine produces the fruit on the vine. So that's where Paul's statement is so powerful when he records for us, "For we are his, God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand." Why? Are you ready? So that we would walk in them. That we would walk in the works of God, allowing him to accomplish the good works through us. So godliness is a result of what God is doing. Walk aware and godly today in Christ.